Shout out to Soldier Field in the wintertime, baby.
All right, mailbag. Speaking of, you own the Chicago Bears. Someone, Ken Mitchell. He says, you own the Chicago Bears and get to decide where the new stadium goes.
Ooh.
Do you choose a city-owned stadium downtown, club-owned facility in Arlington Heights, or something else entirely, dome or no dome? You obviously just no dome if you're shouting out Chicago Bears.
You have to go retractable. You have to go club-owned, and I would imagine that the right option is Arlington Heights at the old racetrack, because you have the opportunity to make the Chicago Bears football scene the biggest destination in football. When I look at SoFi, when I look at Allegiant, when I look at some of these stadiums that are destinations, what else do you have in conjunction with football? You get events, you get, concerts, you get Formula One races, you get everything under the sun. We need to bring back the shine to the Chicago Bears, and I think it could start. You could turn over a new leaf with a brand new stadium. And the key word is this: city. The key phrase is city owned. Soldier Field is city owned. So by the time that the Chicago Bears take the field on Sunday, there has been a Pop Warner game on Thursday, 2 high school games on Friday,
Concert
an
on Saturday.
EDM concert on Saturday. A festival, bunch of freaks running around on our field. I remember I had a tweet, and I was like, get these freaks off the field. And I got killed by people. And they're like, I'd rather go to an EDM festival than watch your shitty Bears any day of the week.
Oh, my goodness.
But at the end of the day, that's what happens when you have a city-owned thing. And you roll out there on Sunday, the surface is bad. It's not a good look. I love Soldier Field. It is one of the crown jewels in the National Football League. But we don't have the benefit of like Lambeau Field, where you're not in a giant city. Like, people take such pride in Lambeau Field. I can't tell you the last time I saw people from Chicago go and clean up the stadium or take care of the grass or protect the sanctity of the property. If you get to start fresh in Arlington Heights and you do a retractable dome, I'd open it up for football games. I'd close it for events. And you have now a cash cow that is in your back pocket. I'm not sure what they would name it. It would be a lot of fun. And also, it's closer to Lake Forest, where the training facility is. The guys don't have to go to the city, which I think tweaks the margins on performance, because when you got guys going down to the city, hour drive back, you're running late nights, you're running early mornings. When the stadium's right there in Arlington Heights, you can get home, get in bed, get ready to work the next day. I don't know. I've always liked the thought of Arlington Heights.
I will say there's something that hits different as a fan about a downtown stadium.
Yeah.
That it's, I remember I lived within walking distance of Soldier Field. I lived within walking distance of Paul Brown in Cincinnati. And it's awesome to be able to walk to a game.
Yep.
But the thing about Soldier Field,
there's not enough space.
It's a disaster to get to games, though.
Not enough space.
It's walking distance, but it's like a mile and a half for every single person, no matter how close you are to it, because of where it's located. It's like tucked behind the highway. So driving to it, getting to it, in and out is horrendous for
train
fans.
line, Navy train line to Arlington Heights, Orange train line to Arlington Heights.
With just the setup they have now, if you're building it in that location, no. If you're building it up by where's the Lincoln Park, where's that like big space, the yards that they have that they were debating building it there, that's like a real location that
it can't be in its current situation.
It cannot be where it is right now.
It's so congested, dude. It is so congested down there. I want this thing to be like the 8th wonder of the world when they build it, because that's what you will get in return. You will get people showing up from miles up. You think there's Bear fans everywhere right now? Wait till you see how many people show up when you build a brand new stadium.
You are the largest uncontested football market in the country.
Yep.
To have the smallest stadium that they have is a joke. It's a joke.
I wouldn't say it's a joke, Mike.
I think it's a joke. I mean, it's like indicative.
It's not good,
of
Cotton.
how that franchise is run. Right?
It's not good, because you go to these other stadiums, you show up to Glendale, Arizona, and you play in an absolute spaceship. You go to Dallas to Jerry's World, and you're like, my God, they own this place?
Yeah,
like, this is
not real.
Jerry Jones' place? You go to SoFi Stadium, and that's Kroenke, right? And you're like, this is what Big Bread does. I think it would inflate the value of the Chicago Bears exponentially.
All right, next question comes from KJ on X. He actually has a video to go along with it. He wants Kyle's thoughts on this type of stuff. It's a hit from Micah Parsons on Joe Burrow. If you haven't seen it, if you're not watching live, go check it out on X. But it was a little late hit, up high. He wants to know, Joe Burrow is a super likable guy by all accounts, but his teammates' actions or lack thereof make it seem like he's Deshaun Watson. No one going and protecting him after a play like this.
It was a love tap.
Number one.
That would seem pretty.
Yeah,
Number one, it wasn't too bad. Number two, I would have been the first guy to run over there and give Mike the time of day.
A little talking to.
Because I would say this. There's a handful of guys that you don't want to go and get into an extra mode. You don't want them to find an extra gear. And I remember playing against Ndamukong Suh. I remember playing against Aaron Donald. I remember playing Von Miller, Khalil Mack. There's a list of guys where you have that meeting with the group before the game and you say, that is not your matchup.
Don't talk trash to him.
Don't touch him. Don't talk to him.
Talk trash to him.
Don't even look at the bastard, because you know what? I got to block him or try to. And if you get Micah Parsons pissed off, if you hit him late, you're going to find a little bit extra juice from that guy. And then we're all in trouble. So in that, it's a rare situation. But if it's a guy, if it's number 92, a guy that we don't even know his last name, we got to go hit him. Joe Burrow, the guys love him. It's comical that you would put Deshaun Watson and Joe Burrow in the same sentence. Next question, please.
All right. Someone, who is this on X? Morgan McGuire wants to know who are the top 5 wide receivers in the 2025 draft class. Great question.
Ooh.
I think Tataroa McMillan, Luther Burden are your 2 first-round wide receivers.
Luther Burden.
It's Tataroa McMillan from Arizona, Luther Burden from Missouri.
Great name.
T-Mac's more of like an X outside. He's 6'5", massive wingspan. Luther Burden's more of a slot. Deebo Samuel, get the ball in his hands. He can make plays type. Yeah. After that, it's a lot of guys who I see as like nice number 2s. I don't see like a true number 1 after those 2, or like a true featured guy in an offense after those 2. That's why I say those are the 2 first rounders. But I go Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State, Alec Eomanor from Stanford, and then Trey Harris from Ole Miss. I don't know if Eomanor is declared yet. He's only a junior, so he may not. We'll see.
No Travis Hunter on your list?
He didn't have a great year. Travis Hunter.
This is an athlete weapon.
No Travis Hunter on your top receivers list?
I don't honestly, like, when I rank corners and when I rank wide receivers, I always like forget to put him in either. Because I'm just like, oh, he's like his own thing.
Hybrid.
Yeah.
So if I were to put him in it, he would be at worst number 2, probably number 1 though. It's just hard to say.
Take him over to T-Mac?
I think he's way more physically gifted than T-Mac. He's a freak.
He's a freak with the ball.
He has not had the ability to focus on one position or the other, right?
He jumps. He can pause in midair when he jumps.
That's the thing. It's like he just athletically what he can do, attacking the football after the catch. It's like it's all there. He's tired half his routes. So you see him.
I don't think people understand how tired he is.
Have the crispness.
For people to say, "Oh, just because he plays both," I'm like, you clearly have never played high competitive football.
Now they've never played running back like Genti either. I mean, that guy gets hit.
I hear that,
but when you're playing both sides of the ball, man,
and not missing any snaps.
Oh my!
That actually leads us into another good question from Monty here. He says, "How much do you think Travis Hunter's positional versatility is actually bumping up his draft stock? Do you think NFL teams could actually use him as a weapon on both sides?" I mean, it's helping. It's a big part of it, right?
Correct.
But it's kind of what I just said in that he's doing what he's doing tired. Yeah. He's doing what he's doing not at 100%. You just can't.
Imagine if he waits 12 minutes before a series.
Oh, yes.
My God.
You physically cannot give 100% every single snap. I don't care.
You're taking 160.
TJ Watt can.
You cannot.
TJ Watt can.
Most people can't even on one side of the football give 100% every single snap. So I do think that's the other thing that's intriguing to me is that he looks this good when he's tired. What's he going to look like?
When he's like full, full healthy, full breath.
So I do think that
it'll be interesting to see what his role will be in the league. I think he has to me, he's a Pro Bowl, All-Pro corner. Right. I just think he's a freak of nature when it comes to being a receiver. And you talked about some of the physical tools that he has. Right. He just plucks the ball out of the air, has great ball skills. And you see that on the defensive side as well, especially in zone coverage, the way he's able to decipher, route concepts.
He drives on the football.
Attacks the football. I could see it being like almost like a J.J. Watt thing where they use him in the red zone.
He was so good at tight end.
Yeah,
bro.
I can see him using and then like maybe give him 2 or 3 end rounds a game.
Yes.
Right? But I think he's going to be a starting corner in the league.
I think when what people don't understand about these meetings in the pre-draft process is when they bring you in there, and Lige, you've been in a few of these meetings with teams, and they try to get a feel for who you are as a person because they know who you are on tape. They know who you are as a football player. They want to know how much you love football. And when a guy like Travis Hunter is playing big-time D1 college football, he's playing both sides of the ball, you don't even have to ask how much he loves football.
Correct. Not at all.
That is what is bumping up his draft stock, in my opinion, that these coaches are like, this guy's doing this in D1 football. That's what we call a badass. You know what I mean? He is a badass. And I think more than his skills, the fact that he's doing it like this on both sides of the ball, he never bitches, never complains. He just shows up and plays. NFL coaches, NFL GMs love that stuff.
For sure.
All right, next question from Tom K. He asks, is the NFC now the superior conference? The basement is too crowded in the AFC to hold a Pabst and a Schlitz kegger.
What the hell are those?
Never had Schlitz?
Are those bad words?
It's a Wisconsin beer or Milwaukee beer.
That's not good.
I've never had it.
I never heard of those.
Yeah.
Schlitz.
Pabst, you know PBR.
PBR, that's the one with the, it's got the blue ribbon on it. I know Fat Tire.
They're not
you guys do Fat Tire up there in Wisconsin?
Yeah, I've had a Fat Tire. They're not great.
Good stuff. I like Leinenkugels.
Leinenkugels rips. Yeah,
Leinenkugel, grapefruit, summer shandy. Ooh, that's a great golf drink.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, when you're sweating, you get that grapefruit in you. It's nice.
Nothing wrong with that.
All right. So are they superior conference? My take is that I think there's some great run teams in the NFC right now, whether it's the Eagles, whether it's the NFC North, truthfully, whether it's the Buccaneers, Seahawks, obviously, with what they've done over decades.
The Jedis are in the AFC,
Rams
though.
as well.
Yeah.
Like a lot of good GMs in the NFC, but the QBs.
The Jedis.
I mean, the QB difference is just if you're just
that is true.
It's so insane, the difference.
And that matters.
And it does matter.
Matters.
So I do think that because of that, I don't think they are. But if you're just ranking like the organizational stabilities, NFC, yes. And there is an underclass that's pretty evident right now in the AFC. So it's really hard to say because top end, if you're saying who's going to win more Super Bowls over the next 5 years, I'd still bet the AFC.
Yes.
This is going to be interesting. I don't think it's going to be too interesting, but when you look at the AFC, you talked about the quarterbacks and being the top tier quarterbacks in the league. Who's not making the Pro Bowl?
Yeah, right. I mean,
it's got to be Mahomes not making it, right?
Mahomes doesn't, right? I don't think he can.
He shouldn't have made it last year either.
He's gonna wipe those tears with $1 million bills.
Trying to get another Super Bowl.
Yeah. Hey, at the end of the day, that's what that guy plays for.
You'll film an Allstate commercial instead.
You got Bundle Rooski?
Bundle-rooski.
It's like, I'm not saying that.
My ears. All right.
He didn't cover my ears.
Dude, that every time that one comes on,
And they started showing the outtakes version of it.
It's better because he doesn't say it as
Which is good.
Yeah.
Which is good.
All right. This one comes from Shades. The last one here. He says, who are your top 5 young DT/NTs in the league right now? What team should we be watching the interior closely? Now, I don't know what qualifies as young. So
I was about to ask that too.
I just did like rookie contracts, guys who are still on the first 4 years in the NFL.
Yeah.
I'd say Jalen Carter 1. Yeah. Lee McNeil 2. He's not
just got paid
on his rookie contract anymore, but he's in year 4.
Yeah.
So I put him in here. Christian Barmore, forgotten about.
Got paid too.
Hurt. Year 4.
Yeah.
But he's awesome.
Yeah,
so those guys, Milton Williams will get paid.
Somebody need to put respect on his name. He's a dog.
He's been awesome. Keanu Benton, year 2, DT for Steelers. Mm-hmm. Awesome. And then I'd give some shout outs too. And I hate to do this one, but
Trevon Dexter.
Yeah,
let's go. Come here.
It doesn't make the top 5.
I've been waiting for him to say that name all year.
But he's been very impressive. Travis Jones, Kobe Turner,
Kobe Turner's got to be on there.
Braden Fisk could join that list. I still worry about him in the run game. But those are your DTs.
Yeah, I would agree with that list when you're talking about young. And again, the question mark is what's the definition of young? Because Quentin Williams is still only 26 years old.
Yeah, like
bless me. Exactly. So like, what are you saying is young, right? But I like the way that Mike broke it down is in regards to people still on a rookie deal. Now again, Lee McNeil, Christian Barmore just got paid, so they're not technically on a rookie deal, but they got paid before going into free agency. So Lee McNeil, I know people are always saying, with Aiden Hutchinson not being there, is this Detroit defense going to be enough in regards to getting to the quarterback? He's one of those guys that can wreck an offensive scheme from the interior pass rush, right? And he's really showed up big the last few weeks since they lost Aiden Hutchinson as well. So he's a guy that I think will help Detroit maybe make that run, especially with all the injuries they've suffered on that side of the ball. He's been the one constant on defense, especially in that defensive line. Keanu Benton loved him coming out of Wisconsin. He just continues to get better. The thing is, you don't hear about him because he's in such a deep defensive line. Yeah,
he's like
the fourth guy in that room, right? Yeah. So and people might even put Herbig in front of him as well too. So could be this fifth guy in that room. But he's a dog in the interior. Travis Jones loved him out of UConn a few years ago. He's just a man child. He's hard to move on.
It's Jalen Carter and then 12 periods. And then everybody else.
Jalen Carter's in his own realm right now when you talk about young defensive tackles.
He is. I don't even play, and sometimes I wake up in a cold sweat.
He gets, and I know this is crazy to say, but when you turn on film, at times he gets Aaron Donald treatment.
He gets
the offensive line.
And he gets held every
single play. You have to hold him every single play.
Every single play.
Because he's that physically imposing and gifted.
Yep.